Someone asked about how to use the Slypod Pro from MOZA as a jib arm. I'm sorry about the noise from all the leaves. Everybody pretty much gets how the Slypod Pro works standing alone as a monopod. Using it as a jib arm presents some challenges. So if you're not prepared for them, you might be taken by surprise. So for this, I believe we probably need to switch the head over. Alright, so that's the configuration we'll use. As you know, it comes equipped with 2 Arca Swiss plates built in. So what some people are probably trying to do, this is an inexpensive tripod I keep with me almost all the time. So this is pretty flimsy. This is not a great setup. It's got a ball head, and for the demonstration I'm just going to use another little action cam. Alright. So if you had your mirrorless camera or a DSLR, obviously it'd be a lot more weight. It helps things if you put the weight over a leg. If you had it not over a leg, you're at greater risk of tipping. And of course I'm using the plate closest to the middle. I'm not using the plate at the end over here. If I were, it would definitely be falling over. Now it'll help matters if you get yourself a sandbag. Sandbag, you can weigh down the leg, so when you get up to full extension, you have a better chance of being stable. Obviously, if you want to use maximum extension, you're going to have a problem. Oh, just like that. You're probably not going to be able to lock your ball head down at the angle at which you want to use it. And if you did try this and did an extension, this is obviously a safe angle. The sandbag is helping. If I remove the sandbag, it's still safe, but chances are you're not going to want to use this angle. You probably want to use something a little bit more dramatic, which wouldn't be good. So this tripod just doesn't have the stability to hold up for what we might want to do. You want to put a Manfrotto plate on here. This is a pretty basic Manfrotto tripod. I don't even know the number. 526. It's at least a decade old. You're going to want to get some leg extension. You don't want it to tip. Okay, so the head is locked. It's holding up pretty well unextended. So here we go out. Oh, and it's tilting against that lock. So, and that's not much weight, that's just an action cam. So you really are going to want to tighten that down. But yeah, your range is limited by physics and gravity, and how stable your head is over here. It's all based on the head. This is a 503 HDV head. It's got a few miles on it. It's been through reality TV. So extending fully at a nearly horizontal angle is going to be tough for all but the most robust heads. Your best bet is to figure out an angle that is kind of steep. That's maybe, what do you think that is, 45 degrees? And the head is stable, but of course this is just a little action cam. It's not a DSLR, it's not the gimbal. It's just a little camera. You might want to go very low in which case I'd recommend getting one of these guys. It's known as a hi-hat. The hi-hat and the board are usually sold separately. So you're gonna get this gadget, aluminum cast, and the plywood base separately. The base is about $40. The hi-hat itself is $200 range. It's a lightweight option for very low angle use. So if you're planning your shot, maybe you want to be through some flowers or some bushes, you want to be low. This tripod is limited in how low it can go. It does have a spreader. The lower the better, but again, you're at the mercy of what your head can handle as far as the extension goes. These heads are not really made to have something that far out on them. I do have a geared head. I have two geared heads, in fact, that would probably hold up really well. Okay, this, what you see here, is a geared head. You extend these cranks. Where are they? There's a crank on there. There's a crank here. Yeah, two. The front, I guess, is over here. Let's go up. Get some clearance. I guess the label came off. If you look for a Manfrotto geared head, this is what you'll see. You turn these, it's very positive locking. You'll be in great position to hold something securely. It takes its own unique plate that I don't even know if I remember how to release. It's probably a two-step release. Yeah. So that's your plate. 3/8 inch thread. So let's try that. It's a novel idea, but the tripod that it's on is really heavy. A lot more heavy than that. I mean, this is just, you could mount a machine gun on this thing. I'm just gonna hand tighten it. Okay, so there's that. Spin her around. So get in there. it's going to bite down, is it? And then you clamp it in. And let's say that's not going anywhere. So we can be fully horizontal to an extension. And that's not going to fall over. Maybe. That's the pan, that's a tilt. So yeah, we can play with the gear and get this sucker in whatever position we want. And let go, and it's not going to go anywhere. So this head, I would say, can handle the Slypod Pro probably with a DSLR and a gimbal at the end of it, maybe with a pretty heavy lens. So that's a good solution, but look at what you got to get. You got to get, it's all about having this robust head. This one, the 503 HDV that I have, will work in most situations. I would say this will work in maybe 65 to 75% of situations. This can tackle anything, and it can go pretty low. It has a spreader that lets it go pretty low, and for that matter, put the ball adapter, take the ball adapter off of this, put it on that head, adapt it to the hi-hat, and then you can really go super low at any angle. I wish I knew the number on this thing, but we can look it up and I can put it in comments. So yeah, so if you wanted to know how to maximize your options for using the Slypod Pro as a jib arm, that's it. This will handle all of your situations, but you got to get it to where you want to go. The little cheap tripod isn't going to cut it. It'll be good for maybe 5% of your situations. This will be a big jump forward, and to be able to handle anything, this. And you won't even need a sandbag for it. Sandbag is great for holding your hi-hat board in place. Keep it from slipping, because it doesn't have any feet. It's just flat. It'll slide around. So if you're on gravel or something, it's not going to be great. You're going to want to think about that. So think about what your situation is going to be and prepare accordingly. Maybe you can get by with a hi-hat. Maybe you can adapt a smaller tripod. I wouldn't risk anything on a lightweight tripod. I would go with like a video tripod and a video head that you can lock confidently. But I think my very best option is this amazing Manfrotto geared head that can handle just anything. It's ready for anything, really. So there you go. Now I got to put this stuff away.